Senua's Hellblade 2 is an absolutely phenomenal experience. It has everything that you could possibly want in a cinematic experience, maybe a bit too cinematic at times, but graphically this game is by far some of the best graphics you'll ever see. And I know you'll have people on the PlayStation side coping and, you know, seething that Horizon Forbidden West is better or Tilu 2 is better. They are probably on high on something and smoking something. There is nothing out there right now that can compare to the visual fidelity that is Hellblade 2. I haven't seen Digital Foundry praise this game as much as they have any Xbox game this much when it comes to the graphical prowess. It is phenomenal. It's amazing. And honestly, you truly have to experience it to understand just how good the graphical clarity is. There are times you'll think that this game is a CGI experience. You know, you're watching CGI and it's not. It's actually a full-on experience of you playing the game in real time. Everything is done in real time. It's crazy. But with that being said, though, what do I think of the overall game? And that is where this video comes in, to give you my thoughts and perceptions. So first we have to start with the audio.
Your hopes were always doomed to fail. All this way. Just to die among strangers.
You! Why did you come back?
Did you think you had left me behind?
The audio is paramount to the overall experience of this game. In fact, if you are not wearing headphones, I can pretty much tell you that you are playing the game wrong and you will not experience the game the way it's intended. You really have to have those headphones on, especially with like some surround, if possible, audio, because that spatial audio around you is so important as you hear Senua's psychosis come into effect, with them talking, with the sound coming out from your left, your right, you know, footsteps behind you, voices coming behind you from all angles at times. It's insane. It adds so much to the creepiness of the overall experience. It is something that you truly have to experience to understand just how amazing it is.
You don't listen to him. There, a symbol. What does it mean?
The slavers. This is the right way. The signs are leading me. They brought me here.
She knows that all through this world there are signs and symbols waiting to be discovered. The meaning is there. If only you can find.
And if, you know, in my opinion, I really do not see this being beaten this year by any other game. In terms of sound quality and performance, it's fantastic. Melinda Jurgensen was absolutely phenomenal in her performance, captured Senua perfectly. I mean, it was a complete fly off from the first game, and she delivered in full performance, and I absolutely loved it. And the audio just doesn't stop with Senua, right? When you're walking, when you're jogging, when the trees are ever so rustling, the waves, the wind, the particles around, everything around you has that beautiful effect, that beautiful immersion of sound that captivates the whole scene. The audio in this game, in my opinion, is what completes the overall experience. I know you've got the graphics, which we're going to get to. You've got the story and the fantastic narration, but the audio is what makes them all come together. And the audio for this is a supreme masterclass. I literally cannot fault the audio for this game. It is that good. Like, nothing short of anything can come from the audio.
Did you think you could escape your past, Senua? You tried to run, didn't you?
She can't forget. You can never forget.
You thought you got away.
No,
You thought you left it behind in hell.
Dillian. Dillian, you're Dillian. You're lovely Dillian. Him.
But you will never be free of
There's
this.
pain.
Voice.
Something dark, Simba.
You need to go up there.
Don't let them see you come.
You need to find out.
Don't let the monsters find you.
You can do this.
The audio was just way too good. From, you know, the character interactions, the dialogue, the meta-human engine from Unreal Engine 5, actually portraying the characters in a much more realistic motion and having them actually talk with real, you know, everything coming through as you would expect, as if you was watching a realistic movie. It just brings everything together. So when it comes to the audio, it's flawless, absolutely flawless. From metals clanging to axes being thrown to the focus gauge, it just sounds so great. So if you are an audiophile, you're in for a real treat. Graphics is a massive one for this game. It's been showcased the most, and graphically this game is by far the best game you will see, period, for the time being. Alan Wake 2 last year graphically was the top of the pile for me, but this one surpassed it in almost every single way. There is nothing here, from the landscapes to the scenery to the lighting, you know, it's just amazing. The character animations, with the use of, like I said, the meta-human engine, it's phenomenal what Ninja Theory have done here in terms of graphical fidelity. They have really, really pushed what is possible to, at this point, I guess, to the limit. On the Xbox Series X, this game runs a solid 30 FPS without any drops whatsoever. On PC, I was getting stable 60 without any issues, and if you actually mod the game, you can remove the black bars as well and actually get a full screen if you really want to go that far. That is where PC becomes even better, right? But graphically, from the facial animation, at times I actually thought I was watching a CGI trailer, and it wasn't. It was live in-game going on, and everything in this game just blew me away graphically. The audio was brilliant. The graphics are just out of this world, like completely. From, you know, the close-ups that they did to, you know, on Senwa's face, on other characters, and you can actually go into photo mode anytime you want and zoom in and actually see the granular details there. It's just mind-blowing what Ninja Theory have done here. And the actual interactions with characters looked so lifelike, photorealistic. They really attained what they want. And unlike the first game, which you were pretty much solo for like 99% of the game, this one actually had other people that you could interact with, making that journey a little more, you know, crowded, which was always good. So graphically, I really can't fault this game. It really is just that good. Anyone that has a problem with the graphics or says there's something else better out there is basically lying to you, out and out. Secrets in this game are actually really well done. If you've played the God of War series, when you go and find those little totems and stuff, they spit out a bunch of lore. It is exactly the same here, and I'm going to put the narration into this part here because it's really important.
What does it mean?
If you want to know,
You need to focus.
you know how to do it.
Focus, Senwa.
Do not forget my stories, Senua. I am with you still. Out of hell you have come, and now find yourself in Midgard, the world of men.
What can you see? Something different.
What is it?
Look,
Face. So beautiful.
they're moving.
Moving, transforming.
Where will it take you?
Where?
Look, life. Focus, Senwa. In all the places of the earth, they know that the gods and spirits affect man's path. All the misfortune that befalls man lies at their feet.
On how this is delivered, but I'll also put the narration in the story aspect as well. But the narration here and the voiceover for this is phenomenal. And if you collect all of the characters, all of the totems and the secrets as well, what you actually get is you unlock different narrators for the actual game, giving it that replay value. So you can go back and listen to the other narrators talking at various points in the game instead of the original narrator. And you actually get a little more background, a little more info as to why they said for Senua to do things, whether they lied to her to get her to push forward and stuff like that. It's really interesting. It adds another dynamic. But the secrets are really well done. They're hidden away in these head statues for the trees, and obviously you've got these totems that are hidden in the offbeat path that you will need to go to unlock. But they provide you with tidbits of lore and some nice Norse mythology to keep you going. It's really, really well done. So next we come to the actual environments. The environments are just jaw-dropping. Simple as that. The rivers, the mountains, the landscapes, the scenery, the villages, the towns, the open areas are just mouth-watering. They are sublime. Honestly, everything about this game, from the sound, the audio, to the dialogues, to the graphics, everything is top art. The secrets that you can go and find are not too difficult, like I was saying before. They are worth finding and worth listening to because they add more info to your experience. Where the game takes a little bit of a turn, in my opinion, is the actual story. Now, the story itself is fine. It's pretty simple. It leads off the first game as she continues her journey. But one thing that the original, in my opinion, actually did really well was combat the whole psychosis, and it kind of made you appreciate it more than the sequel. Maybe they assumed that because you're playing the sequel, you'll have played the first one, so it didn't need to go into that side of things, but it was really missing on this side. It's almost like you kind of expected it to be here, as opposed to it being the first time you heard it. So for players that are coming into this experience for the first time, having not played the original, will feel a little out of place. But that said, the story is workable. That said, the story is actually okay. It's not a bad story. It's nothing that's going to blow, the lid off anything. It's Senua is trying to hunt down a tribe, without giving too much away, that has been taking her people as slaves. And as she goes along on this, she gets herself purposefully caught to try and find who's responsible for these and take them out. And that is essentially the premise. And what happens along the journey obviously changes stuff. As from the actual trailers, you've got giants that you have to deal with. The boss battles are pretty cool. There's a lot of puzzles in this, as you would expect from the previous games. So all of this kind of adds to the overall experience. But, the story probably is the lightest part of this game, even though it kind of never really felt like a story. More, it felt like a journey. It's almost like watching a movie kind of slowly developing along the way, kind of taking that one thread of a story and just going along, and you're watching it to its penultimate end. And this is where the gameplay comes in. A lot of this game is you running forward, moving in a set path, in a linear path. There are a few branches you can go out of, and if you see them, you'll probably die. But it's generally quite forward linear, the game, and I see a lot of people complaining about that. I'm not really too fussed about it. I came into this knowing that it is supposed to be a cinematic-driven experience. That is the type of game that we see on PlayStation a lot, so I'm not going to start criticizing it here when I enjoy them over there. Everyone knows that me as a person, I do enjoy those experiences, and this fit right home. Xbox needs more games like this. Maybe this one pushed that cinematic drive a little too far at times, But at the same time, they've clearly mentioned that this was designed to be a cinematic experience from the start to the finish. But I can't really fault it there when that is what they sold it on. They didn't sell it on anything else. They didn't tell you that this was going to be a full-on action game. Now, the combat is where this game is supposed to also shine. And honestly, it's really no different to the original. If you enjoyed the original's combat, you're going to like it here. When you get into combat, it kind of goes into a 1v1 arena. Graphically, everything gets pushed up that little bit more. It looks absolutely phenomenally brilliant. It's just crazy how good this game actually looks, even in the early combat stages. It's just so good. It's crazy. Now, you've got your parry, you've got your dodge, you've got your light attack, you've got your heavy attack, and of course you have, once you unlock it, the focus ability, which allows you to slow down time. Now, some people say this removes immersion. I actually love this mechanic. It does help you out quite a bit. And honestly, it feels good when you trigger it. You get to get those extra few hits in and, you know, really go to town on them. So for the combat, all I'm going to say is it hasn't really taken that much of a leap from the original. It's pretty much the same, and overall, it works. It's nothing to write home about. It's nothing to scream about. But where I'm seeing people going about and saying, oh, the combat is this and combat is trash and this, I really don't understand it when the same people were cheering and praising the original Hellblade's combat when this is pretty much exactly the same verbatim combat with slight improvements made to it. So you can clearly see the bias there. So finally, we come to the overall package of the game. Like, what did I think? It took me 10 hours to beat. And that was with me just exploring. There was a bit of photo taking. I mean, the scenery in this, the graphics in this game are amazing. For people to complete this in 5 hours and not appreciate the game, it is really sad. It is really sad. This is almost as sad as the time when someone beat Spider-Man in 8 hours. Pretty sad. But the game is graphically phenomenally brilliant. So you're going to take pictures. You're going to... I mean, there were times where I stood at the cliffside for like a couple minutes, just admiring the beauty of what I was seeing, showing my partner, because graphically... I mean, at certain points, she actually thought I was watching a movie because it was just graphically that good. It was just phenomenal. And when you put everything together, you've got the 10 out of 10 audio, the 10 out of 10 graphics. The story, I'm probably going to give it a 7 out of 10. The gameplay is the same as the original, so I give that an 8 out of 10. So when you combine that overall package, I'm going to split this into 5 categories. You've got audio, you're going to have graphics, you've got narration, because I think that's a separate category in itself. I know you could pile that in with the audio, but I think the narration is different. It's the delivery of that narration that makes it so good. And it fills in the gaps of where the game actually, feels a little more slow-paced.
Her father, Simba.
Did you think you could escape your past, Senua? You tried to run, didn't you?
She can't forget.
Now, the combat I was going to give a 7, which would have wrapped it up to 44, but I'm going to give it an extra 1 for the simple fact that they added a few little nuggets in there, like the ability to throw projectiles back. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but if an enemy actually throws like an axe at you or another projectile at you, like a dagger, if you use your focus, you can actually grab that and fling it back and it's an instant kill. Those little touches to me make a big difference to my overall impact and immersion in the game. It means that I don't have to rush over to the enemy and try and fight them face-to-face a mano. If they've got a projectile and they want to throw it at me, I can have that as an option and have my ranged attack. It does require a focus gauge, but it still works. So for me, the combat there, like I said earlier, it's improved over the original. It is better than the original. And the original, I would have given it a 7. So this one I'm going to give an 8. So if we're looking at that overall, we have 10 for the audio, 10 for the video, 10 for the narration, 7 for the story, 8 for the combat. If we divide that by 5, we have left with 9 out of 10. that is my score for Hellblade 2. It was a truly memorable experience. It took me 10 hours to complete and another hour or so, maybe 2 hours, to go find the missing collectibles that I did. And if you do that, you've actually got an extras at the end that provides you with the option to listen to all of them, plus additional lore for both the tree and the totems, which is really cool stuff. And if you play the new game again, start a new game, you can actually pick, like I said, the different narrators, giving it replay value, giving you a different perspective. It is really cool. So for me, overall, with the whole replay value, the overall experience, this is an easy for me 9 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found this review useful. That's me signing out. Remain legend.
All the lost ones. Only she can save them. All the people here dying in this nightmare. Only she can set them free. And she's running out of time.